Hello everybody, today we're doing a large ceiling patch in a garage ceiling. So basically someone was in the attic doing something and they stepped through the ceiling and then they decided they can fix the repair themselves, so they started cutting it out and then they realized that they're in way over their head. So I was told to come in here and get this all sheetrocked up, tape, coated, and textured. Simple, easy process that we're doing here. This is a garage, so most garages per code are supposed to use 5/8 sheetrock. 5/8 is a heavier gauge, fire rated sheetrock. It's supposed to be in garages for code reasons, fire resistant. But I do sometimes get into these jobs in the garages and they have 1/2 inch. So you always want to check the depth of the sheetrock that you're going to install. Never do 5/8 on 1/2 inch or 1/2 inch on 5/8 because it's just going to create a mudding coating disaster. So on this, we're doing a 5/8 cutout. We're just going to get it all cut out nice and square. If you're lucky, you can cut it out square center to the stud. But on this one, we're going to have to add backing. So good backing to use is like a 2x4, 1x2, 2x3, wood sheeting, whatever you have. We like to get wood backing on each side of the sheetrock to have something to screw to. You need to screw the old sheetrock and the new sheetrock together. That's what that backing piece is for. You don't just hang the sheetrock there and then both sides are moving, because it's going to crack out eventually. So you always want to add backing after you get the patches cut out. This is the same for a small patch, 6-inch patch, or like this, almost a 3/4 of a sheet patch. So we're going to get it all backed in, and then we're going to install 5/8. We're going to piece it in because a piece he left us here was the materials that were on the site that we were able to use. So we're just using what they had with the 5/8. Also, scuttle hole. When they removed this, they removed the wood trim scuttle hole. He wanted to replace it, but I told him the stuff he took down is still usable. So we just basically backed out the finishing nails that it had. It had old style finishing nails that are done by hammer, and so we just went ahead and backed out those finishing nails, and then we set the trim in and hammered it into the old nails. If you didn't have this style, then you of course would have to nail it in with a finished nailing gun, and then we put a couple screws in it to really tighten it up. Then followed through and caulked it all in, caulked in all the miter edges, the edges, filled in the nail holes, the screw holes, stuff like that. So it's good prep to do before you paint. But basically, follow along. There's no really dialogue or audio on here, so it's just more watch and learn the process. Me and my guy I work with are getting this done today, so it's take us a couple hours to do this. The video moves quite along. It's speed up about 4 times, 5 times, so you kind of see the process, speed it along. Get it all sheetrock, follow through. We use a fiberglass mesh tape. Going to turn around and do a 5-minute quick set mud. Just mix a few pans of those. I mix a pan at a time. If you're not comfortable mudding, then just use a regular joint compound. We use these hot muds because I have to finish these jobs in one trip. So I'm going to use a hot mud. As a hot mud starts setting it up, then we're going to slick it out with the sponge, and then follow through with a second coat if need be. And then this one is a spray splatter texture, so we have to plastic off the area to contain any overspray. Then we're going to use an air compressor and the hopper, and I'm going to use a small tip on the hopper because it's like a heavy orange peel splatter type texture. And the texture, we're going to use a thin down all-purpose joint compound. Once you get it all sprayed like this with a texture, all-purpose joint compound, you just want to clean up your plastic. A lot of people want to keep the plastics overnight because they know they're going to paint the next day, but it's easier to pull your plastic because this texture gets all over the plastic, and then when it dries, it flakes off. It'll get in your paint, stuff like that. So whenever you finish a spray project, just clean everything up, and then when you go to paint, just put down new plastic and start a new day. But yeah, pretty simple. Patching up. I'd say this is 6-foot by 4-foot patch, sheetrocked, tape coated 2 times, and texture with the spray texture. Once it's all textured out like this, you want a texture to dry at least overnight, 24 hours. And then you always want a primer. I always recommend using a Kills 2 latex primer on new drywall or a PVA drywall sealer. You have to primer new textured drywall. Even a small nail hole you fix in a wall, you should primer it. Because if you just paint over it, the paint's going to absorb into it, and then it's going to flash once you paint over it. So just seal it up with a cheap primer, PVA drywall sealer. It's like $10 a gallon. And then when you go to paint, the patch area you did is not going to try to soak up gallons and gallons of paint. So it will save you a lot of money and a lot of headaches if you primer your patch areas before you paint. Paint's just a color cosmetic. The sealer is actually what it's doing the work. I know they have paint primers in one. I'm sure they're great and all, but it's easier just to not skip the step and just seal, primer the drywall, either with a Kills 2 latex or a PVA drywall sealer. They make it for a reason. It's in the paint aisle. They even sell it in the drywall, sheetrock aisle at most home improvement stores. So that's one of the products you're going to need if you do any drywall repairs, is a primer before you paint. But pretty simple video. Watch and learn. I hope you like it. We also have other videos on the channel, patches, stress cracks, repairs like this. Easy do-it-yourself repairs. So maybe you can watch a few videos and kind of see the process how we do it. Of course, other people have different techniques out there, different materials. One person will do this. There's really 1,000 ways to skin a cat, as you'd say, but this is the way we do it, and we work every day in the field, and this is how we do it. So this is our process. Of course, the area you're located may have a different technique, different tools, but this is how we do it. Simple drywall repairs you can do yourself. Also, please, if you haven't done it yet, please subscribe. Also, hit that like button, leave a comment, and go ahead and jump in the other playlists and watch the videos. And thanks for viewing, and thanks for subscribing.